The 5 best chess gambits for beginners. How do you even determine such a thing? I scored every single gambit in chess on 3 criteria: win rate, easy, and fun. The result is a list of gambits that are extremely easy to learn for beginners, but are also powerful enough to be played all the way up until the master level. As you can see, win rates are here from each position on the side. This is every single game under 1400 played in the Lichess database. We'll be counting down from number 5 all the way down to number 1, so stick around until the end to find out which gambit takes the top spot. I promise the win rate on that one is absolutely insane. Kicking things off at number 5 is the Scotch Gambit, one of the easiest ways to start playing aggressive chess from the get-go. Let's learn how to play it. It starts with the classic e4, e5, fighting for the center. Then knight f3, attacking the e-pawn. Next, black plays the most common move, knight c6, defending the pawn. And this is where the fun starts. We play d4, the Scotch game. This is already an incredible beginner opening, and is suggested by Hikaru Nakamura for beginners. I can't blame him. This idea is so important because you're immediately challenging black in the center and offering up a pawn to break things open. If they take with 3, e takes d4, you simply bring out your bishop to c4 where it eyes f7, black's weakest point in his position. It's important to note though that that isn't the only move order. One of the reasons in my opinion the Scotch Gambit is so beginner friendly is that we can completely avoid theoretical lines like the Petrov by playing d4 before knight f3. In this position, almost every single beginner is already going to be out of theory, and we can simply bring them into the Scotch Gambit just like this. We played knight f3, they played knight c6, and then we played bishop c4. The idea is to get your pieces out fast, castle early, develop your knights and bishops, and start aiming for black's king. In my opinion, what makes the Scotch Gambit so great for beginners is that it's super simple to learn, but really dangerous if black isn't careful. It's all about playing quickly, seizing the initiative, and punishing any kind of slow move from your opponent. 5 stars for win rate at an insane 56%. 3 stars for how easy it is to learn. It does help a lot to know some theory in the Scotch Gambit, especially against stronger players, but you can also sidestep a lot of it with the 2d4 move order, so I'll still give it 3 stars. And 4 stars for fun, because the Scotch Gambit is an absolute pleasure to play. So if you're interested in starting your games with a bang and having some fun, definitely give the Scotch Gambit a shot. Coming in at number 4 is the Göring Gambit, an extremely fun and aggressive line that's all about getting your pieces out quickly and putting pressure on black right away. It starts in the same way as the Scotch Gambit, with knight f3, knight c6, and d4, the Scotch game. And remember, you can also start with d4 and delay knight f3. We play d4, entering the Scotch, they take our pawn, and instead of playing bishop c4, like in the Scotch Gambit, instead, we're going to play c3, getting ready to develop with tempo. They take our pawn, and instead of like in the Scotch Gambit where we play bishop c4, instead we're going to play c3, gambiting our c-pawn. Should they accept, the move here is bishop c4, gambiting another pawn which most people take. You capture back, and this is the starting position of the double Göring Gambit. An extremely fun and aggressive line that's all about getting your pieces out fast and attacking the enemy king. Back to the starting position, the Göring Gambit is great for practicing rapid development and learning how to use open lines to attack. Plus, it can lead to some really sharp tactics that are perfect for catching your opponents by surprise. At the beginner level, guys, every game is decided by tactics, and the Göring will give you a ton of tactical opportunities, and your opponent, almost none. The reason the Göring Gambit is only number 4 on our list is because it's more obscure. There really aren't too many educational resources online for the Göring compared to the rest of the gambits on this list. But still, if you like playing fast and aren't afraid to give up a couple pawns, for a huge lead in development, the Göring is definitely worth adding to your toolbox. Win rate is 5 stars at 57%, 3 stars for how easy it is to play. You really don't need to know too much theory for this one, but the lack of resources like courses, videos, and books to actually learn the Gambit, given how obscure it is, really hurts its rating here. And then 5 stars for fun because the Göring Gambit is an absolute blast. I've been known to play the Göring Gambit in tournaments against lower rated players, and I promise you will get some of the craziest, coolest checkmates you have seen in your life. Alright, moving on to number 3, the Smith-Morra Gambit, which is perfect if you're sick of playing against the Sicilian defense and you want to turn the tables early. You want to be the one attacking. The Smith-Morra Gambit pairs excellently with the other gambits on this list because it covers the Sicilian and has very similar plans. It kicks off with 1e4, c5, which is the start of the Sicilian. Most players here are expecting to play the dragon or the Najdorf, but instead you immediately push d4. After c takes d4, you push c3. offering up a pawn for quick development. If black takes it, we recapture with knight, and immediately start getting your pieces out. Your knight goes to c3, your bishop goes to c4, and then your other knight will develop to f3, you'll castle, and 90% of the time, the right moves after this are queen e2, and then rook to d1. The Smith-Morra Gambit is awesome for beginners because it plays almost like a system opening, and it forces you to play actively. You're not sitting back and just hoping for black to slip up. You are creating real threats immediately. Plus, it's a ton of fun, especially when black doesn't know the theory and tries to hold on to the extra pawn. The weakness of the Smith-Morra, in my opinion, is that it's often declined, so you'll sometimes find yourself in more slow positional games if your opponent doesn't want to take initially on c3. The good news is, beginner Sicilian players have no idea how to correctly decline the Smith-Morra, so you'll usually get a great position. We're back at the starting position of the Smith-Morra Gambit. I just wanted to show what I was talking about. Knight f6 is generally considered to be the best way to decline the Smith-Morra, and you'll see only 3% of beginners play this. Again, we are 1400 and below. So, if you're looking for a weapon to use against the Sicilian that's aggressive and puts pressure on your opponent from the start, you have to try out the Smith-Morra Gambit. I'm giving this one a win rate of 3 stars at 51%. Easy to play is 5 stars because you almost always have the exact same plan for development, and also one of the greatest opening books of all time, Mayhem in the Morra, is written about the Smith-Morra Gambit. Fun is also 5 stars because it's arguably the most insane aggressive gambit in all of chess. Alright, number 2 is one of my favorites. I have made plenty of videos on it. It is the Evans Gambit. This one is all about going directly for the throat in the Italian game. The Italian game is already one of the most beginner-friendly openings out there, and you can very easily fit the Evans Gambit into your repertoire alongside the fried liver. Let me show you how that works. If they played knight f6, you play for the fried liver. If they play bishop c5, you play the Evans Gambit. Here you're offering up a pawn on b4 to get black's bishop out of the way and to play c3 with tempo. This allows you to open up the center and prepare to get your other pieces out extremely quickly. What's great about the Evans Gambit is that it's extremely direct and extremely aggressive. Black can easily get into trouble if they're not careful. You're playing to open lines and to get a crushing attack on this f7 square, and it really teaches you how to punish slow moves from your opponent. What's also great is that if you're a beginner, there's almost a 0% chance your opponent even knows the Evans, and there's one trap that almost everyone falls for the first time, which I'll show you right now. They take the pawn, we push c3, they play the most common move at 75%, moving their bishop to c5, we push d4, they capture our pawn, and instead of capturing back, we simply castle. Here you'll see that 75% of people take the pawn, allowing us to take on f7, and once they take back, we have a queen check, preparing to win back the bishop, and it's not done yet. They go back to e8, trying to avoid the check when we recapture. Instead of capturing immediately, it's best to play queen h5 check. You'll see 87% of beginners here will completely throw the game by playing g6, and their king will never, ever be safe again. The Evans Gambit is perfect for anyone who wants to learn how to play active, attacking chess, and doesn't mind taking some risks early on. It's also just an objectively good opening that's been played by some of the greats of the past, like Paul Morphy and more recently, Garry Kasparov. If you've never tried it out, the Evans Gambit is definitely one of the most rewarding openings out there, and I'd highly recommend giving it a try. Win rate is an easy 5 stars at a 54% win rate. For how easy it is to play, I'm going to say 4 stars. Your plans are very straightforward, but your opponent also has a lot of options after c3. They can go back here, go back to e7, but luckily most beginners do play into this line. For fun, I'm going to say 5 because almost all of your opponents will fall into at least one trap in the opening. Finally, at number 1, topping off our list, we have the Danish Gambit. Definitely one of the most exciting and fun openings you can play as a beginner. If you know me in real life, you'll know I play a lot of chess at bars and coffee shops, so I end up playing a lot of beginners, and when they ask me what opening they should learn, I always say the Danish. It starts off just like many open games. E4, E5, and then D4. Look familiar? Well, after black takes with E takes D4, we play C3, offering up another pawn to get our pieces out fast. Here, 77% of beginners capture, and instead of capturing back, the move here is bishop C4, the double Danish Gambit. If black keeps taking, you're down 2 pawns. But here's the magic, your bishops fly out to C4 and B2, and your queen and your knights are going to be extremely active. and you also have these nice open lines to attack your opponent. And suddenly, just for 2 pawns, we have this absolutely incredible attacking setup. At the beginner level, you're probably going to blunder those 2 pawns anyways. It is the perfect opening to learn how to play sharp, aggressive chess, and is extremely satisfying to play whether or not your opponent sees the threats coming. Win rate is 5 stars at an insane 56%. How easy it is to play, I'm giving it 5 stars. Your entire plan can be summed up in one word: attack. And for fun, also I'm going to say 5 stars. I would argue that this, the Danish Gambit, is the most fun opening to play in all of chess. Let me know which one you picked in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like. Also, if you want to learn one of the gambits on this list, there's a good chance I already have a video on it on my channel. Otherwise, one is coming very, very soon.